Hello everyone, straight to the point today. I'm having issues on my Volvo 740 diesel estate with the overdrive, so I'm just going to take you through some fault finding now. Hopefully it will help you out because I wasn't quite sure what was wrong with mine. So yeah, let's get into it. Basically, every so often when I'm driving down the road, I engage fourth gear, press the overdrive button, and the light doesn't come on, nothing happens. I noticed that when I'm pressing the button, I couldn't hear the relay clicking. This is the relay, it's the part number. I've just labelled it overdrive and the front position so I know which way to put it back in, and it sits here. You remove the relay, it's got these tabs here, so just prise them back gently and you can pull the relay out. Just going through it, having a look at it, you can see it's got some bad joints. Let me zoom in. There's one. Is it that one? One of these is actually visibly cracked. This is really difficult to do right now. See, right in the centre there, it's got a crack in it. So I'm going to resolder that, and I'm going to try and wash this circuit board. If you've got any sort of circuit cleaner, just go over that with a soft bristle brush and just try and give it a general clean up and look for some more damaged joints. This coil seems to be in good nick, although there's a bit of corrosion here, and the contact is working okay. So anyway, if your relay's working sometimes and not all the time, it might be that. But while I'm here, I'm just going to go through some fault finding. Get yourself one of these, power probe. You can give something a negative or a positive 12 volt feed. Now the way this overdrive system works is when the ignition's on, you have, this is the pin, this is the base. You have permanent 12 volt feeds. That is on pin, let me have a look. So yeah, pin 85, because it goes this way. So on pin 85, which is that one, you should have a permanent, oh no you shouldn't, sorry, pin 15, the wiring diagram's online, I'll try and put it in the link. Pin 15, permanent 12 volt feed. This is the 12 volt feed to the relay, permanent. You've also got an earth here, which is pin 5, and what happens here is, I'll try and hold that on my knee, that is the overdrive disengage. So whenever you come out of fourth gear, the earth goes open circuit. So that allows, I'm guessing that allows the relay to operate on the switch, because if there's no ground on the relay, the coil won't energize. So remove that, make sure that works. So that's working fine. Also just give it a good, because if you've got a loose connection somewhere, you want to sort of find out where that is. So that all appears to be working. We know we've got 12 volt feed. You can even cycle the ignition if you want, and that should drop off and come back on, but I'm not going to bother because it keeps putting my glow plugs on. That's on a flat battery. Right, then what we have is, what pin is this now? Right, okay. So then what happens is this permanent 12 volt feed comes up to this switch, and then every time you click this switch, it sends a signal to this pin here, which is, let's have a look, see, pin 86 on the relay. So this is the sort of signal to say, yep, I want to switch to overdrive. For that to work, obviously you also need it to be in 4th gear, so the relay's got an earth, and then you can check if your switch is working. So probe that relay base there, test the switch, so that's working. Again, molest it a bit, make sure it's definitely not giving you, because this is an intermittent problem. You see, I'm driving round and the thing works and then it doesn't work, so I just want to make sure I ain't got any loose wires before I start trying to rework this relay. And you know, if you ain't got the facilities to do that, you don't want to be buying one, because they ain't that cheap, and if you're not sure, you're not sure. Now the last pin of interest is one of these is going to be a permanent earth, I think. I'll double check that, but yeah, the last pin of interest is this one at the back, and that is pin 87, which is also linked. No, it's not linked there. Yeah, the last pin, pin 87. I imagine the other one's an earth on the right. I can double check that on the drawing. We'll have a look for yourselves. But basically what happens here is, this is the latching part of the relay. So you're giving your 12 volt signal, 15 volts here, 12 volts here, power up the switch, then it comes to here, then you'll get 12 volts here whenever you hit the switch, and then that will actually latch the relay and the contact will close, and then you'll have a permanent, this will be a permanent 12 volts then, because the relay's latched, and then until you come out of 4th gear you'll have 12 volts here. So I can energize this with 12 volts because this is a fixed earth and this is 12 volts. I can energize the solenoid from the relay base. So if I do this, I can hear the actual solenoid below clicking, and what's also happening is the light on the dashboard's coming on. So at a glance, this tells me that everything appears to be checking out connection wise. So what you could do is put a wire from the, or what I'm going to do is put a wire from this fixed permanent or ignition 12 volts to this 12 volt feed to the solenoid at the back. So a wire from here, there to there, and what that means is anytime I put it in 4th, we're essentially going to be in 5th gear in overdrive, because I've linked it out. Although yeah, I don't know how that's going to work with that, because the overdrive might try and engage in all gears then. Okay, I'll get back to you on that because I'm not sure, but yeah. Also worth checking, obviously look at all your connections. These seem okay. This whole fuse box unclips. There's 2 white clips on the side. There was only one on mine, but it was here. When it's in position, it was here. Pull that out, and then you can actually pull this out. And then what you can do is remove, or see these clips, pull them back, and push the relay base down. And just what you want to do is check that all these connections are at the at the top of the base, so that they're making good contact. But yeah, I can actually just put this in. Probably shouldn't do it while it's on, but okay now. There you go. So you can actually see the relay operating now if I zoom in. So disengaged, no light. I'll press the switch. Relay engages. 5th gear on. Overdrive's in. I can hear the solenoid. So what I'm thinking with this is, obviously mine appears to be working at present, but it doesn't always work. So when it doesn't work, I can't hear the relay clicking, which would tell me that it's not the overdrive solenoid, because I'm not hearing the clicking. The relay would still click and try and energize the relay, the solenoid, but it's not. So yeah, just a bit of info. Hope that helps, guys. Cheers. Right, done some further looking, just to cover and end this video. It was pin 85, not 5, that I mentioned earlier. That was the 4th gear disengage, cuts off the earth to the relay, and breaks the coil contact feeding pins 15 and 87. Also worth noting, pin 87 in the middle is not used, and also pin 31 is not used. I assume 87 on there goes to the dash lamp, because they're linked over. Right, I also mentioned that I'm going to link this out. Now I'm not going to do that because I've done some reading online, and you're not supposed to engage overdrive not in 4th gear. So if you engage overdrive in 1st, 2nd or 3rd, especially reverse, from what I've read, you'll goose the transmission. So don't do that. I suppose that's what this 4th gear switch is for, because essentially I'm bypassing this, and in a way that protects the transmission, so don't do that. However, while you're stationary, I can link this across. So I've put a wire from pin 15 to pin 87 at the back, and what this means now is, no matter what gear I'm in, if I cycle the ignition on, yeah, there you go, I'm in overdrive. So yeah, just for testing purposes, don't leave that in the car because you're gonna have kittens. Don't do that. But that if you do this on your car and you have limited testing tools, that will just tell you that at the time you've got the 12-volt switch feed from the ignition. The only other problem that I might be having is, for whatever reason, when I'm driving down the road, this switch 12-volt feed from the ignition is cutting out. So there's two solutions to my situation. Either this relay's clobbered and it gets warm and doesn't want to operate, or this 12-volt switch feed is not being a 12-volt switch feed when I want it to. So solution 1, rework or change the relay. Solution 2, rewire a new 12-volt switched feed to this relay base, which is easy enough because it can pull out the bottom. Like I said before, I don't think it's the overdrive solenoid because the relay ain't clicking, and if the relay is not clicking, the solenoid's never going to go in position. The transmission switch is working fairly reliably, so it's got to be one of those two things. I can't speak for the people who have their overdrive jump out of gear or the light come on and the overdrive not engage, because when mine doesn't engage, the light doesn't come on, which tells me it's a control circuit failure. Yeah, try putting some oil in it, that's all I can say. Change the oil. So yeah, I hope that helps, guys. I'll put the I'll try and put the wiring diagram in the description, but to be honest, just search on Google 740 overdrive relay wiring diagram pin out, and it will correspond with these that I've just told you. So yeah, I will put an update as to what my problem was. It may just be one of these things where you plug it all back in and it starts working, but I don't know. I'll put it in the description and give you an update. But my money's on this. It's got some bad joints. That one there, and that one don't look too clever. So yeah, I'm gonna resolder this, and I've got a proper circuit wash machine at work, so we'll put it in that, see if that works, being a tight ass. If not, I'll buy a new one. The only other thing I could do, sorry it's going on now, is put a test lamp here. If I piggyback off the bottom of this relay base, whenever my overdrive isn't working, I can look at, like, I don't know, use a 12-volt lamp or something, and then you'll know then that either the supply's dropped out or the relay's not working. Anyway, that's enough babbling on. See you later, have a good one.